Hello, this is Matthias Schaffler, Product Owner for Configuration Manager in PalmGen. Today we will be showing you how to create a RTE for a set of OMEGAMON agents from end to end using Configuration Manager. On this screen you see the driving JCL based on a sample that is delivered in TCAN-SAM. We point to an SMPE that has the ZSMS installed, meaning all agents. The first thing we do, run the create action. So let's submit the create job. When we check the output of the create job, we will see what data sets are being created by this member. The most prominent DD statement to look at is the KCI print. We see that the SecExit library has been created plus the core RTE-def library. So let's look at the contents of this a bit more more detail. As I mentioned, security exit is generated. We are not going to talk about this in this demo, but it essentially contains all the security related input that you will then be needing in the subsequent actions. Okay, so the RTE-def dataset. Let's start with the RTE name member, which is demo in our case. There are two main sections. The first one for RTE, global RTE parameters like prefixes for Apple IDs and started tasks, the RTE USS RTE dir for USS related directories, and so forth. There are also a section on which agents you might want to configure in this RTE-def. So by default all are picked because we realize that you have the potential to configure them based on SMPE installation. So I'm gonna go and emulate my editix through a little script, and I'm only picking a subset of agents: TEMS, TEMA, KIX, transaction server, IMS, and JVM for this purpose for the purpose of this demo. All right. So let's look at other members. There is a certain naming conventions for those members depending on the product. So for example, KGW is a member for KIX Transaction Gateway, KQI for Web3 Broker Monitoring. So these will not be used in this configuration. So I'm just going to remove those pre-generated members, which essentially leaves us to three members, and we'll look at the remaining two. The first one is the global $par member that consists of all the global variables that you have that you should be thinking about customizing properly. You will see libraries in here for example, DB2 or KIX Transaction Gateway that we have not configured. The create action assumes that you would want to configure them at one point. If you do not need them, just remove them from this file. So I'm going to go and remove the parameters that are not necessary for our configuration. So to keep it very compact and sparse. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to go and emulate the edits to point to the proper installation on this specific system so that validation would not return us any errors. Okay, so this is saved. The next member is really on the TEMS related parts, and in this case we choose a hub TEMS. You would add the additional parameters or different parameters if you would want to configure a remote TEMS. So that's really all there is to this initial set of configuration. Let's look at the discover action next. In order to run discover, you need to change your program to KCI alpha, which is an authorized KCI omega alias. So we submit the discover action and look at the output it generates. See, it also terminates fairly quickly, and we see that it discovered on this specific LPAR DB2 subsystems, MQ managers, KIX transaction server regions, IMS control regions, a TCP/IP stack, and system symbols. And it also tells you that all these discover results are stored in your RTE-def datasets in specific members. So let's look at this. Let's refresh the RTE-def and you will see those members generated. I'm gonna go and remove those discovery results for agents that we are not interested in, which is KMQ, KN3, and KD5, just to keep things very compact. On the kick side, which is KC5, what we do is we kind of pre-generate your task history definitions for you. You can use them and customize them if you want. If not, you can remove this member as well. The interesting part in this use case is KI5, which is the discovered IMS regions, which show you an entry in the parameter table, in the sparse parameter table for each of your regions. And please note that it honors also the respective started task and vtime prefix as listed in the RTE name member demo. Finally, there is a list of system symbols that we discover. They are mostly discovered for the use case to generate RTEs on a local LPAR, also for remote systems, remote LPARs, or even remote sysplexes. So the idea is to run the discover step on the remote system, transfer those data, those members to the local RTE-def and run the generate locally. All right, so the next action, and this is one of the most important actions in Config Manager, is the generate action. Just make sure you revert KCI alpha to KCI omega. You will get an error message if you do not do so, but let's submit the job after changing the action to generate. So what the generate action does, it really does all the hard work, let me say it this way. We do allocate all the respective data sets that are needed for your RTE, containing the PDS history data sets, containing all the other history data sets that you might have configured. It does the validation of the parameters. It runs the security exit jobs. It does do everything that needs to be done on the USS level by copying certain data sets from the SMPE file system to your local RTE USS RTE there. So there is a lot of stuff going on in this specific job. You can follow this somewhat in the KCI print, where we are telling you, hey, you configure for 5 agents. These are the parameter definitions that we read for this configuration. These are the system symbols that we use. So you can follow this a little bit more at the high level. If you go down the set of DD statements, they are essentially representing sub-workflows that are being executed. Let me just pick a couple of interesting ones. There is a DSN PRT out, which reflects the contents of your RTE-def. Why am I mentioning this? I'm mentioning this because when you have issues or problems with generate, really all there is to submit to the support team is the complete log of your generate run. The other action, other interesting steps are, for example, the validation step, which would show you the parameter validation. All right, so after you have generated your RTE and we see that the job finished here, let's check how long it took to run. So in this case, on this system, it started at 2:52 in the morning and it finished at 2:54 in the morning. So it's about 2 minutes that this job ran to generate all the RTE dataset artifacts. So let's check really what it did, because we're using these high-level qualifiers. So you see the task history is created for kicks. You see the IMS-related datasets being created, and you see TEMS datasets and so forth. I want to point out a couple of new datasets that are being generated, being the proclip, vtimlib, and vtimlsd members. So for the started task definitions, we kind of consolidate them all in a data set, and we do really compact that started task definition. We kind of polish it up and remove mostly all of the comments. You can still access the original ones if you want to in the usual locations, RK, D2SEM, and so forth. Okay, so now you're done with your generate action. What is left to do for you is to follow the complete configuration steps for your respective agents, meaning APF authorizations, copying of the sys1 members to proclip, VTAM, LSD. Make sure you have the respective RACF privileges for your started tasks to run properly, and that's really it. So that has not changed between PowerEngine and Config Manager. Okay, so now you have done your testing, you enjoyed all the nice OMEGAMON features, and you want to tear down your RTE, and you can do that very easily by using the delete action. Just make sure you use the confirm action to confirm also your delete. You submit the delete action, and it will remove all the data sets that it allocated from your system. It will just leave a few that are have potential use by Sysplex and the proclip members. Okay, that's all I wanted to show about RTE lifecycle, creating an RTE from scratch and tearing it down using Configuration Manager. Thanks for listening and have a nice day.